War II.
Okay, when we were 10 years old during World War II, right?
Right.
Weren't we? And I remember when the war started.
It was a war that was supposed to be ending all wars, and it was supposed to bring the Axis powers to the end, and it was supposed to go and be having peace and prosperity after it was over.
Well, it did for a while. It really did. Things were wonderful. But when we were young during the war, when it first started, we were afraid that the Japanese were coming right over to New York, to Guam. I can remember that very, very well. People were really, really frightened because that was an attack on the United States of America, and everyone was so patriotic during World War II. We would save cans, and we would save oil and grease.
Yeah, did you
different
ration?
things. Yes, and we had rationing, which is something that was, we haven't had since. And yeah, it was quite exciting. And everyone in this country, and that is the truth, was extremely patriotic. More patriotic than they have ever been since.
Did your parents fight?
My father was in the Merchant Marine, and he went to war and was taking goods across the country, across the Atlantic Ocean, to England, and to, yes, and to, I guess it was England, because I guess they couldn't go too much further at that time. But he, yes, he was in the war, and they had submarines. The Germans had submarines all over. He was just very fortunate that his boat was never torpedoed. So he was a very, very interesting man, my father.
Wow.
My father worked in an industry that was getting the communications between the countries. So his job was secured. He wasn't required to go into service at that point.
Right.
He had a job that was necessary
To the
to
war.
the war effort.
That's awesome.
See now, isn't that interesting?
How does it compare to the war today?
Well,
With the whole
The war
Afghanistan.
today, it doesn't seem to be a good cause for the war. It doesn't seem that we have an aim that was that was good and wholesome. I think it's all over oil. I think the people that are fighting for the oil-bearing countries, the American soldiers that are going over there, I don't think they have a good, clean idea of patriotism or what they're fighting for.
what they're fighting.
Like Vietnam, kind of?
Well, yeah, yes, Vietnam was a war that no one in this country seemed to be too excited about. That was really terrible. In fact, when those poor young men came back, people were not even kind to them when they came back from that war. That's how much
That's right.
the Americans, this country was against that war.
They called them child killers,
Yeah, it was,
baby killers.
yeah, it was
That's
terrible.
horrible.
Yeah, so we lived through that one, and now we had the Iraq War, which was an unfortunate occurrence. We should never have done that. Things are a mess over there since we've been in there. So that's how we feel about all these things. You want to know anything else?
That's good. Yeah, hold on, let me think.
Okay.
How do you think that the times we're in now are more dangerous than when you guys were children?
Oh, absolutely.
Why?
Absolutely. They did. Oh my goodness. You mean as far as wars and things? I mean, being bombed and different
No,
things?
I mean like how.
Oh, I think life was much simpler when we were young.
Yeah.
There weren't so many mean people around, people that wanted to do you harm. Today you have to be so careful, and no, life was much simpler. And don't forget, we're really old now.
No, you're not.
So it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe. No, things were much simpler in those days. Much, much nicer.
Yeah, how do you feel about the whole technology revolution? Do you think it's
Well, you can answer that.
Do you think it's causing our generation harm? Do you think it was
Oh.
better without all of it?
I
Yes.
think that that's true. I think the technology is separating the people from the machine, and they're losing the ability understand what the fighting is all about. And the technology is getting so rapidly increasing that pretty soon it's going to be able to fix itself and root itself and ask itself questions and fix itself. And
That doesn't sound too bad.
Sounds like hell.
people, the human beings, it's going to be less interaction between human beings and machines.
Yeah.
Well, I think too that children shouldn't be watching all those video games. I don't think that's a good thing. I think that's a very, very bad thing for young people to be watching. I think it makes people have crazy ideas about things. I think all these things like Columbine and all these other things are all caused by the media and caused by, when we were young, if something happened in California, we might not hear about it for a couple of days. Today, as soon as anything happens, boom, you hear it immediately. So that's my thoughts on that.
Technology has brought that to us.
Yeah. What else?
We know about terrible happenings very quickly. And the reason that the things are happening is because the people, human beings, are losing their contact with other human beings through this technology.
Yeah,
That's
there's
true.
something to that.
So that there's